evening. Tonight, I would like to talk to you about manuals. So in my last mini session, we spoke about emotional adulthood versus emotional childhood. So when you're in a relationship, if you take full responsibility for yourself because you're in emotional adulthood, the other person takes full responsibility for themselves because they're in emotional adulthood, then when you come together, you can just enjoy each other's company. Neither of you are trying to make the other person feel better or feel love. So that's emotional adulthood. Today, I would like to talk to you about a concept called manuals. Now, a manual is an instruction guide that you will have for another human being. This could be your partners, it could be your children, it could be your parents, it could be your boss. It's even strangers in the street, people in the supermarket. We have an expectation on how people should behave. And as long as that person behaves that way, we get to feel good. The problem with this is we can't control other people. I mean, most of us have a hard job controlling ourselves and our own emotions. So how are we going to control somebody else? So you will have an instruction manual for the people in your life, even the strangers in your life. And a lot of the time, a manual feels quite justified. You know, it feels quite logical and it feels quite reasonable to expect your husband to maybe take out the rubbish, to expect your friend to call you back if she's missed your call. Maybe you want somebody to respond to an email really quickly. But the problem is, and you've heard me saying this a number of times now, other people's behavior doesn't make us feel anything good or bad. It's our thoughts about what they're doing that make us feel. So other people's behavior has no impact on us emotionally till we have a thought about it. So I keep coming back to this, your thoughts create your feelings. You're going to hear it a lot from me because that is the reality of the world. So some really common manual instructions could sound like, they should call me back when I call them. Or you could say, they should remember my birthday. They should invite me when they have a party. My manager should praise me for a good job. They should tell me they love me. They should spend more time with the kids. They should do more around the house. Any of this sound familiar to you? And what's really fascinating is that we have these manuals and these instructions on how people should behave that sound really logical and really reasonable. We don't even tell the people that's what we expect of them. We don't voice our expectations. We just expect them to know. Another manual instruction, right? They should know what I'm thinking. They should know how I'm feeling. They should know what I need. But it isn't the case, my friends. It is not up to your manager to make you feel good about your job. That's your thoughts. It's not up to your partner to make you feel loved in a relationship. Your thoughts. Just the same as you can't make them feel love. You can't send your emotion into another person, just like they can't send it back. So when we're trying to control somebody else, and this comes back to the emotional childhood and emotional adulthood again, when we're trying to control somebody else, It's a form of manipulation. And whoever likes to be manipulated, whoever likes to feel controlled. But if you take full responsibility for yourself, then you can show up as the best version of yourself. So this is a little bit different if you're a parent or a boss. So when you're a parent and when you're a manager, we obviously have expectations on how our children should behave and how our staff should behave. We actually have in the workplace processes and procedures on how people should behave. And as parents, it's obviously our responsibility to mold our children into good adults. We want them to be polite. We want them to be kind. We want them to be considerate. So it's absolutely fine to set your expectation. It's absolutely fine to ask somebody to behave in a certain way. Whether they choose to do that, however, is completely on them. You don't have to make it mean something emotionally bad about you, that they don't love you, that you're a bad person, that you're a bad parent, or that you're rubbish at your job. You don't have to make somebody else's behavior mean anything about you. And actually, when we drop our expectations for people and allow them to show up exactly how they want to show up, then we can just love them for who they are. So when you set really clear expectations for your children or for your staff, and as long as they understand that expectation, then you can follow through on the consequences of not meeting that, but you don't have to bring your emotions into it. You can say to your child, right, okay, I expected you to put your shoes on when I asked you to. You haven't done that. Therefore, now you're going to have to sit on the naughty space for a minute, or whatever discipline you use for your children. The same applies with staff. You could say to your staff member, right, we've set this really clear expectation. That expectation hasn't been met. This is now the consequence of your actions. You can set that from a place of love rather than a place of frustration, even in the workplace. When I talk about love, I don't mean the romantic, gooey love. I'm talking about the true emotion of love because it feels good. When we're coming from a place of complete unconditional love, we feel good. When you hate on someone or you frustrated on somebody, you feel the hate and frustration. But when you choose to love somebody, you're the one that feels the love. You feel good, and then you show up as such a better version of yourself. So other people's behavior doesn't need to make you feel anything. That's power sits with you. And if you dropped all of your expectations, then you just get to love the person for who they are in your life. And that's an amazing place to be. So this recording was a bit shorter and a bit sweeter than my previous ones. But if you're intrigued to know more about where you've got manuals in your life and the expectations that you've put on other people, or the manuals that you have for yourself, maybe you have expectations that you have set on yourself. And if you don't meet those expectations, then that must mean you're a bad person. It's not the case. Drop your manuals. Drop your expectations. Let the humans be the humans. And when you come from a place of unconditional love, you are the one that's going to benefit from that loving feeling. I would love to help you on this journey. I would love to be able to show you the manuals and the instructions that you have for the people in your life. And actually how those manuals are causing you possibly so much pain. That doesn't have to be the way. So get in touch. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.